Welcome to the Middleware Tech YouTube channel. Today we're starting a comprehensive course on user interface design. In this series, you'll learn about responsive web design. Let's get started.
Responsive web design. Today, any commercial application that you find in today's industry. Let's see, assume I have to create a commercial application for an healthcare UI layer I'm talking about, or a particular commercial application UI layer I want to create on insurance domain. Or assume you want to create a commercial application for any e-commerce sites. All the applications templates, I'll say that why I'm going to start from the scratch. Everything you can buy from the market. Everything you can buy, that actual template also you can buy from the market. Very good templates, responsive templates you can buy from the market on any domain of industry. But buying is not the solution. Solution is that if I want to work on, if I want to changes if I want to do any customization based on the requirement, then you should know all the basic features to understand that template that you can buy from the market. So you should know all the basics of HTML5 features, because they're using HTML5, CSS3, Bootstrap, and not only this, but also some other SAS is there. All the advanced component that is being used in the UI layer to create very good user interface, responsive web design. Right, so we are moving into that. So if I want to say what is responsive web design, then I'll say like it's an approach, is an approach to design website, okay, and applications, okay, that offer easy browsing and navigation on wide range of devices, that offers easy browsing and navigation on wide range of devices. So I have created a web application UI component. That UI component or UI layer or user interface layer I can access inside my PDA device, inside my laptop, inside my mobile, or I can access it inside the tab. Each and every device has different length and width. So responsive web design is that design, that application that will come in the wide range of devices width, height. Okay, so that is one of the important point, and it should be an optimal viewing experience on any device, no matter the screen size. Okay, responsive sites should work and look great on all screen size and resolution that you're talking about. I can say another one point like responsive sites should work and look great on all screen sizes and resolution. Now you'll say that, let me see how these responsive sites look like. How these responsive sites look like. Any responsive sites, if I want to say, just see here, I'm going to Google. What is our target that I'm going to explore first? HTML5. Application HTML5 e-commerce template. When you come into that, we can see here very good HTML5 responsive templates are available in the market. I'm just talking about this type of template we can create by ourselves. As you can see here, same template we can create by ourselves, and you can see it very good look and feel that is used by all the commercial applications today. This industry, right? So lots of templates application you'll find in the market from different organizations. So we are talking about those responsive web design itself. We are moving into that. So first point I told you is that it's an approach to design website and applications that offer easy browsing and navigation on a wide range of devices. Responsive sites should work and look great on all screen sizes and resolution. So if I want to access a responsive site in my device, a responsive site is a collection of multiple layout, okay? So when you're moving from one device to another device, bigger device to smaller device, the layout will change, its length and width will change. So layout changes depending on window or device width. Layout changes depending on width or device, depending on window or device width. Okay. Just now I'd given you some examples of the device like desktop, laptop, mini laptop, iPod, smartphone. Each and every device has its different length. So if I want to say that, okay, I want to create a responsive web design, then what are the different tips that I should know? I'm talking about, if I'm saying that responsive web design I want to create, responsive web design I want to create, then it should have some of the features like it should have simple layout. Layout means a container where all the things you're going to define image, text. It should have HTML5 doc type. I have to use HTML5, as well as you should use when I'm going to create a particular layout, that layout contains some text, some image. So I have to define some text area or width, some image width, some table width or height. So what are things I'm going to define? The width, those things will come in percentage, not fixed width. You have to remember, one of the important features of responsive web design is I should use HTML5 doc type, means HTML5 elements we should use in the user interface. Another one point is when I'm going to define any component width, that component or height, maybe that component is an image, maybe that component is a table, maybe that component is a text area, maybe that component is a layout. So any component that I'm going to create or define inside the user interface, its width should always be in percentage. So percentage, not the fixed value. Percentage with element width. Okay, so these are the three tips you can say when I'm moving with a responsive web design. Okay, fine. So if I want to say, see, I'm talking about responsive web design itself because at the end of the day, using HTML5, CSS3, and Bootstrap 4, that is our target. So I'm just going to add some points on this. I have to say three key points when I talk about responsive web design. Three key points I should know when I'm talking about responsive web design. First point is fluid and flexible layout. Fluid and flexible layout. What does it mean? Layout means a container where you are going to define some other component. So inside, when you create a particular web page, that web page has defined multiple layouts. When you defined any when I'm going to define, I'm just going to talk about this, not this. Here, just now I've given one example, right? Just now I've given one example. So if you see this website, these websites have different layouts. This is different layouts. You can see here different layouts, right? So different layouts are there, different layouts are there, right? Different layouts are there. And at the end, we can create a same commercial application like this that you can see here. Same type of application we'll do it third day. So the thing is that first I'm talking about, I'm just going to understand, I'm talking about fluid and flexible layout. The layout means here, this is the header part, okay? This is the middle one. So this you can define a two layout. This is one layout and this is another one layout, right? This is another one layout, right? This is another one layout. That layout contain different component. Okay. Next, this is another one layout. This is another one layout. Okay, that content. This is one component. This is another one component, right? Next, this is another one layout that contain different components. This is another one layout, right? Then you can move with, this is another one layout. You can say this is another one layout. Okay, and then I can talk about, this is the footer, another one layout, right? I'm talking about that only. So fluid and flexible layout. So the layout that you have defined here, these layouts should come based on the device. I'm accessing this web page. I'm accessing this web page in the desktop. Same web page you can access to your PDA device, mobile, tab, or some other devices. What does it mean by fluid and flexible layout? Fluid and flexible layout means I'm talking about that you should use percentage instead of fixed width. Use percentage instead of fixed width. Okay, first point. Second point, I want to say that that window or the device determine width with things like container, content area, sidebar. I'm talking about when you see this is called one container. Any website, this is called one of the container. Okay, this comes under another, with another one layout come inside a container. Okay, one layout will come inside a, this is another one container, one this is another one container. Okay, so right, so what I'm talking about is that window I'm talking about window or device determine window or device determine width of things, width of things. Things means I'm talking about in your page layout like container, okay, or I'm talking about content area, sidebar, content area, sidebar. Okay, so though we use another one, so that how it will come, like what I'm saying, like assume you are going to write header part. So header part for a particular website. So what I'm going to write, the header part, I want to use width in percentage. That means width should be 90%. And I want to use one side panel for the website. So that side panel I want to use like you can use like this side panel I want to create. Just put it in a percent width, put it in a percentage. Okay, and another two middle layer I want to implement, assume this one is, make it as 20%, and another one I want to create here, make it here as 20%. So whatever things layout length I'm going to define, that should always use in percentage format. Right, header, footer, side panel, that we have to think. This is another one important point, or point of talking about fluid and flexible layout. one key point regarding that. Second key point I'm talking about that is said to be as flexible images. Flexible images. So what does it mean by flexible images? So the same like the layout itself, size image with dynamic size means we should always use flexible image so they can scale down and not go outside their container based on the device you are going to use. Okay, and use percentage when sizing images. Okay, so use different percentage depending on the screen size. Okay, so I can write one line. I can say here one line I want to say here about flexible image, that is use percentage when sizing images. Yeah, images. Use different percentage depending on screen size. Okay, we have to use a different percentage depending on screen size. What does it mean is that when you're going to use different types of devices, different screen size, right? Based on the screen size, we can use different percentage. So how to use it, I'll talk about it. For the time being, just I'm talking about what are the basics terminologies. How to implement, we'll do it. As for example, always, if I'm going to use an image, let's say I'm talking about image. This is just take it like this. Always try to use the property like max width. Okay, that is 100%. Try to use percentage for your image like this. Okay, fine. We have another one component for talking about responsive web design. 3 key point. This is the first key point. Second key point, take it as a conceptual point of view for the time being. I'll come into that because ultimately you have to implement these things. Another 3 important point is that CSS3 media queries. Now we'll say that what is CSS3 that we don't know. I'm talking about media queries. It's fine for the timing. Just I'm going to make a slight headline. Okay, media queries. What is this actually? This component in CSS3, this will allow us to assign certain style sheet for certain screen size. Okay. Now don't think about too much because you have to talk about first CSS, then you have to talk about CSS3, then you have to talk about how we can use media queries on CSS3. So for the timing, just I want to say that it will allow us to assign features for certain size. Or you can say that just now I talked about that based on your screen size, your component gets rendered. Okay, so that features, in that case, to implement that features, we use CSS3 media queries. For the timing, just I want to talk about as a headline like this. I'll talk about later. So our focus is that if I want to, these are the three major points we should think about when I'm talking about responsive web design. Okay, so I'm just going to talk about what is responsive web design, how I can define responsive web design. These are some of the key features to talk about a responsive web design. Fine. Now, if I want to implement a responsive web design, what are the different tools that is available market and all the tool that is being used throughout the world to create a good user interface? Let's familiar ourselves about all the different tools that is available used throughout the world in different companies. I'm talking about tools and thread, just to name that module. See, we have some component you already familiar, text editor. Now, in the text editor part, I want to say like we have some standalone text editor that we can use to create the design for our user interface. I'm talking about standalone text editor. So what are the things are there? Some of the text editor are simple, fast, and freely available. Fast, simple, and freely available text editor in the market. You may already familiar with them, like Notepad++. We have Sublime Text 2. Sublime Text 2. We have for Mac, we have TextMate. TextMate. These are some of the freely version is used a lot. Some of the powerful as well as free also. Powerful and free version. Powerful and free version, some of the text editor like already you are working it in different programming language implementation like NetBeans as well as Eclipse, right? Already you're familiar with. But if I'm going to create a commercial application, these things you don't do generally. If you go for commercial application like this, let me take it as a commercial application to create. Okay, like this. Then I'm talking about commercial application, or if I want to create, then we use some of the editors like WebStorm. These are being used worldwide with different companies. That just I'm giving a listing here before actually implementing our application. We have already this Dreamweaver. And we have another one called brackets. These are the IDE or text editor being used to create commercial applications. So out of which we'll use in our example or in our implementation, we'll use brackets. Okay, in our development environment I try to work on brackets because of easy to use and good flexible and you can understand, though it will depend man to man. It vary man to man. All these three are good one. Generally, I use brackets. So I'll try to use brackets in our curriculum also. So if I want to work on brackets, then you have to just go into Google and just write download brackets. You have to download this one. Right click, rename, Control C. So just you have to download this brackets, this one. Okay, and you have to install in your system. Okay, so this you can install, and once you have installed this bracket, it will look like this. I've already installed in the system. It will look like this. It will look like this, brackets, how you can see here. Now if I want to create a simple HTML page, let's see, this is a simple HTML page is being given, HTML5 page is given, and how to run that page. Top right side, you will find one live preview. Just click that live preview. You can see the page is visible. Okay, and this is the page how it look like. Okay, so any page that you have, if you want to run, just top right side, click live preview. You can see the page how it look like when you want to see in the browser. Fine, and you can create some HTML CSS file also, and good look and feel. Fine, so we try to use bracket in our curriculum. Okay, so you can keep installing, and you'll find also good, helpful to work. Fine. See, the thing is that this is a standalone application, a standalone text editor. You can create, you can install in your system, and you can work on to create your commercial application on any domain. Now, I don't want a standalone text editor. I want a web text editor. Okay, I can create our application using web text editor. Web text editor means you don't need a standalone text editor to install and create your page. You can use web text editor to create your websites. Some of the web text editors like Dablet is being used a lot. Dablet is available http://dablet.com. You can check. This is one of the Control V and come to tablets, and this will give us a dynamic user interface implementation where you can create your user interface using this. Okay, so HTML. So if you see here, I've just written something, and H1 welcome to responsive web design. Each one. So if you see here, this I'm doing dynamically. This is a website, and you are creating your web page using this. So this is called web text editor. Okay, so lots of web text editor. I'm not going into this because I'm not this part of the curriculum. I'm just talking about that how we can use web text editor also to create a web page. Like some of the example, like we have developed like this just now I've given you, and you can try on those things. We have another one component that is called Jasbin. These are the usually used throughout the world in different companies. http://JSF-TDLE.net. Okay, so this is one of the product or web text editor. We have Cloud9. Cloud9 is used with the cloud AWS environment. Okay, Cloud9, if you're interested on AWS cloud environment to work, you can try on Cloud9, http C9 actually, c9.io something is there. You can try on this. We have another one web text editor that is called Cloud Anywhere. Oh, sorry, Code Anywhere. Code Anywhere. Okay, this it has a particular website is there. You can try on this. Some https://code anywhere .net. So these are some of the hugely used web text editors throughout the world. Based on each and every one has some advantage, disadvantage, but based on the advantage of each and every web text editor, a text editor is being used in the industry. Fine. Let me talk about some of the designing tools that is being used when I'm just talking about their name now only, because when I'm going to work on the design in a commercial web page, I'll use any one of them in between, you can say. Okay, fine. So some of the design tools also is there. I talk about design tools. See, the thing is that, as you know, that technologies are changing rapidly. Today something, day after tomorrow you'll find something else because of its some advantage. Okay, so as you know, for a graphics standalone tool, we generally use a graphics standalone tool. We generally use some of the graphic standalone tool. Already you're familiar with this, like Adobe Photoshop is there. Adobe Photoshop is there that you're already using, or we have Adobe Illustrator. These are very popular tool and used a lot in the market. Adobe Illustrator. These are some of the tools being used, okay, for graphic standalone tool. But some of the browser tool is also being used for designing. Some of the browser tools. What are the browser tools? Like Easel is used. Okay, Easel. If you want to work on Easel, it has some website like https://www.io. Just check how it look like. Easel. Control C. Control V. This is one of the browser tool. I'm writing something wrong. easel.io. So if you're not getting, just www, just go to Google and V, you can see from, sorry, ly. So this is another one tool that you can use to create a very good, this is another one browser tool you can use. Okay, so this is the URL. We have some other browser tool to design the website. We have fronts.com. This we have http://front.com. Okay, we have another one for responsiveness. Okay, we have http://responsive.is. Okay, responsive.is. So you can try on this. I'm not going into that. Okay, so when you have created this, when you are going to work on this designing a responsive website, we have to use some of the frameworks. So frameworks we have to use. So as you know, that frameworks is nothing but it will when you're creating using some frameworks to create a responsive website. So framework will give you, or it will provide you the environment to implement the reusability. If something is already there, I can reuse it. And already you know that framework means someone already created, and we have to know how to use those component, right? So to reduce the development time, we are going to use all the component that is already being created by someone. Okay, so some of the frameworks we are going to use when I'm going to create responsive page design. Already talked about one of the framework, Bootstrap. This is in our curriculum, but except that we have some other frameworks also there in the market called Foundation. We have Bombay. These are all framework to create a very good user interface. You know, we have Skeleton. Okay, we have another one framework is there that is called. These are some of the frameworks. HTML5 boilerplate is there. HTML5 Kickstart is there. Okay, fine. Next, if I'm going to, there is another component called wireframing. Wireframing. What does it mean by wireframing? Wireframing means it will, this is one of the approach or it will help you to plan layout of your website. This concept is called wireframing. Wireframing means if I want to work on, I want to create a responsive web design for healthcare. I want to create a responsive web design for any educational portal or for commercial application like hospitality or some other application. So how I'm going to create the layout based on the requirement, that concept is called wireframing. Okay, so I can say like it will help to plan layout of your site. Okay, layout of your site. So if I want to implement the wireframing concept, we have some of the very popular sites like you can use Verify. Verify very generally used using the portal http://getverify.com. Fi.com is there. We can to implement wireframing. We have another one concept. We have Bootstrap PSD. Bootstrap PSD. Okay. Okay. We have Jetstrap is there. Jetstrap is a very popular tool to create very good user interface. Layout design. Okay, Jetstrap, very popular. https://jetstrap.com. Jetstrap.com. I'll come into those things when I'm going with the actual implementation on day 3, not today. Today I'm just giving the things that is being used in the industry, and we are also going to use. In these examples, I'm going to use Bootstrap here, framework. And for wireframing, I'm going to use this one in our curriculum. Okay, for responsive wireframe is also there. Leave it, fine. These are the things. Okay, fine. So what I'm talking about here, we have some of the testing application. When I've created an website, you have to test that one. Let me see some points for testing. You have to test your website. Test application, like we used for test application. Generally, we use StudioPress. StudioPress is there. Then we have Responsinator is there. Okay, we have another one component that is called Protofluid is there, right? So Protofluid, FL UID fluid. Okay, so these are some of the applications. So the thing is, I've just given the name because before moving to our actual in our curriculum, we'll try to use only one of them. So for testing application, these are some of the components there. For wireframing, these are the components generally used a lot. For framework level, I'm going to use Bootstrap in our curriculum. Then in the designing tools, I'll try to use, you can see some of the use of Israel, I'll try to use. Then in web text editor, we talk about Devlet. Or if you are very much interested with cloud environment, we talked about with AWS, Cloud9. And here for standalone text editor, try to use brackets in our curriculum. Fine. So these are some of the talking about tools and thread, okay, that we are going to use to create a commercial web page. Okay, fine. So let's move with that. Now, when I'm going with this responsive web design, so our focus is this, at the end of the day, I want to create a website like this. This is my actual focus. At the end of the day, I want to create a website like this. Okay. So to do that, that is one type of responsive web design. First point is that we should have good understanding on HTML5. We should have a very good understanding on HTML5, right? So these are all the different elements. So let's talk about HTML5.